All right, so I'm here with Jeremy Thiel of DriverCheck. How are we doing today, Jeremy?
Doing very well.
Good. So you have you've had a summit before, but you're having another one this year. Tell us. It's out in Alberta, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is our second annual Fitness for Duty Summit.
Okay.
Last year in 2018 was in Milton.
Right.
We wanted to make it a national event,
Yeah.
so this year we're going to Edmonton.
Okay.
And looking for another great crowd.
Well, you filled the house last time. So what kind of? I know the topics ranged from drug and alcohol to how to monitor it, how to deal with people in the workplace. Is it the same format this year? Or is it different?
Similar format, so we're really building off of what we accomplished last year.
Okay.
So when we look at fitness for duty, it's how our employees or staff fit for their jobs and their roles. So, legalization of cannabis was a big thing last year. There still is no test for impairment.
Okay.
So we're building off of what we discussed last year, and we're going to be looking at the statistics after 1 year later. So it's on October 2nd and 3rd, which is almost a year after it's legalized.
Okay.
So we'll have a lot of stats from what's been going on. We know internally we've seen the positive test rates have gone up very high for THC. But we'll also be talking about case law. So last year we had Barbara Butler speak on policies, but this year she's going to focus more on the case law side of things, because there's still people in Canada who think drug testing is illegal. So that's one component. Mental health is another aspect. So day one will be predominantly about alcohol and drugs.
Right.
We'll also be touching on the opioid epidemic some more. Connor Page, our business development manager, he's going to be talking about the quest for the impairment test.
Okay.
So last year he's gave us an idea of all these different types of testing out there, and again how it's evolved even in the short 12 months that have gone by. So.
Yeah, so it should be an interesting time because I know you had the TTC out there last time talking about their program and some big companies. Are you expecting to get some companies from the West to talk about it? Because it's a Canadian law, not just Ontario, right? So cannabis is legal all across Canada.
That's right. Yeah, for adult use, it's legalized now all across Canada. We do expect a lot of people from Alberta to come out. Last year, we actually had pretty good representation from all of Canada. So again, more Ontarians came last year, but now this year I think it's just going to kind of flip. But the goal is to make it national, so all across the country. But each province has their own regulations when it comes to, say, like occupational health testing, which could be like your audio testing or respiratory testing. There's certain regulations you have to follow that are set provincially. But as far as cannabis, that's legalized across Canada.
Are there any issues that they're having out west that we may not be? We hear about a lot of stuff here in Ontario, but our political environment takes a lot of the TV screen time as well. Is there any issues they're having that maybe we're not aware of or we haven't seen here with the regulatory bodies that we have?
Well, so when you look at Canada as a whole, provincially, you kind of have these niche markets as to what certain provinces or industries they're big in, right? So Alberta's a lot of oil and gas, a lot of construction. Alberta is very conservative when it comes to their drug testing models, and in a good way.
Right.
Because a lot of times we find that Albertans are safety first, and so they put in some of the strongest programs in place. So more so than we see anywhere else. So that is a good thing. But as far as Albertans, the general public, what we find an interesting stat we heard recently is 4% of the population in Alberta have medical authorization to use cannabis.
Oh, wow.
So again, 4% is quite a bit of your population. So then these people also need to have jobs. So.
Plus, I'm thinking of all of the different parts of the industry. Like we don't have, people hauling the logs around here. We do kind of up north and stuff, but not around here so much. And that's a big industry out west, right? So they're in a place where it's very hard to monitor, I would think, just based on assumption, right? So would you guys have some monitoring tools and stuff like that?
Yeah. So again, a lot of the business does happen in the rural, like north of, say, Fort McMurray. So there's a variety of options that we would have. So sometimes we're on site at some of the bigger companies' locations. We're actually, have a trailer. We actually have staff set up there, 24/7. But then we also have locations like clinics where we can, say if they're in Fort McMurray, where we have one of our clinics, we might have a mobile collector go off site, and drive to someone. But there's all these different sorts of testing measures. Some companies actually train their staff on how to do an oral fluid collection or a urine test collection, so you get the results immediately. So you really look at what each company wants, and then you develop a program that makes sense for them. But when you get into the rural areas, it can be more of a challenge for sure.
Okay, so this is going to be an exciting time for you guys. Have you got any location stuff set up, or I know you're kind of working on that still? But,
yeah, so well, it's definitely in Alberta. It's definitely on October 2nd and 3rd. Okay. We're just in the final stages of nailing down the event location. But we want to have the biggest venue that we possibly could. Yeah. So last year it was over 350 people over the course of 2 days.
Really good crowd.
It was fantastic, but we want to do a little bit more. Yeah. So we're expecting anywhere from 300 to 500 people. Okay. The venue can possibly go up to 700. So we want to make sure that there was room for growth, because last year we had to turn people away. Yeah. And that's one thing we didn't want to do this year, is have to close doors, because if anyone wants to come to get education, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Last year you had a trade show component. Are you having that as well? Should people be reaching out to you from the western side or traveling from here if that's what they want to do?
Absolutely, yeah. So we didn't put as much of a push on it last year. But this year, because after the fact, people were coming up to me saying, "Oh, I wish I had known that there was exhibitor possibilities." Right. So we're probably going to have space for between 10 to 20 different vendors. So if people are interested, they can definitely reach out and ask.
And you prefer people that are in that industry, or can anybody be an exhibitor there? Is there a certain kinds of businesses you're looking for? I guess anything that would deal with medical or drug and alcohol would be preferred. Yeah. But there could be a trucking school that
absolutely, yeah. So our industries are anything safety sensitive related, transportation, forestry, oil and gas, mining, healthcare. So anyone that has businesses associated with safety sensitive jobs can definitely come out. So it could be your drug testing companies, it might be insurance companies, all sorts of people. Could be occupational health providers. So if people think that's a fit for their exposure that they want to this clientele, then we're happy to have them come.
And out of the 350 people that you had in that room, and you had a large, would you say most of them were safety personnel? Like, who was in the room? I'm thinking of somebody listening to this going, "Oh, I think I want to be involved in that." Who would the audience be? Because it could be anybody.
Yeah, it really could. What we found is majority like human resources, health and safety professionals or executives. You have some people like an executive level, but you also have people that are influencers as to the health and safety programs. So anyone that cares about safety in their workplace, doesn't really matter about the job title, but they'd be the sort of people that come. We had quite a few occupational health nurses come last year. Okay. So there's all these kind of different streams depending on what those people actually do. The
content was really exceptional. We covered the event for you, and it was, the presenters all really were very knowledgeable, and a lot of them were fun. They were, really good presenters, and so I'm sure that you're going to have great people out there again. And is it last year you kind of did day one was a certain format, and day two was kind of a stronger? Are you doing the same kind of format where you're changing? You're going to theme the topics, I guess, for days 1 and 2.
Yeah. So we do like to have fun. Like that's DriverCheck's whole. It's actually one of our values.
That's what I love about you guys. That's why we're with you guys. Yes. We like fun too.
So because we've all been to different trade shows or events and speakers, and the crowd's falling asleep, and there's nothing worse than speaking to a crowd and people aren't paying attention. Right. So you want to make it engaging. So when we look at our speakers, first and foremost, education is the most important, and two, speaking to the audience that you're like knowing your audience. So the actual formats would be 8:30 till 4:30 both day. We should be able to get 5 talks in both days as well. But we're looking at having a panel discussion on both days. So it'll be similar formats, but day 1 will be more focused on the alcohol and drug testing side of things, and day 2 would be more on the occupational health, which could be physical abilities testing and audio programs, but it could also touch on mental health aspects.
And you fed people for 2 days. The food was exceptional, especially the cookie table. I got to say that was one of my favorites. Although I'm trying to be healthy now, so you might have to put more fruits out next time. But no, that was really good. And so there was food both days, and you had raffle draws. You had a lot of extra stuff going on. Do you have that? Are you planning on that again this year?
Absolutely. So again, going back to having fun. For people to come out, you want to have a fantastic experience, right? So we've been to trade shows. Again, they're kind of dull and boring. We would like to take it to the next level. So what's going to make it memorable? awesome food,
Yeah.
feed people like champions, awesome prizes, and just for showing up, you might have a chance to win something.
Great.
I think last year we probably gave away like 20 to 30 prizes, so it's a pretty good percentage of the year to walk away with
There
something.
was like, didn't you give away a TV? You gave away some nice prizes last year. I can't remember what
did,
they were,
yes.
but I remember something. There was like a camera or something. You gave away some good stuff last
Yep.
year. Okay.
Yep, that's
So
the
you're
one.
gonna have to up this now, right? We'll just bring in a Best Buy truck.
There you go,
Load
back it up,
for you.
yes.
That's
You
great.
win a car, you win a car.
Oprah does that, just so you know. So what's going on with DriverCheck? Anything new? So that's the summit.
Mm-hmm.
Where do people learn about the summit? Where can they go and get more information? Because I know you're still finalizing some things.
Yep.
So
Just go to drivercheck.ca.
Yeah.
All the information is going to be on there, and if you can't find what you're looking for, you can always email myself.
okay, all right. And what's new with DriverCheck? Anything new since the last time we chatted with you?
Oh,
You
man.
guys are developing faster than you know. I got to be in the country where I know those sayings. You know, faster than. Come on, you can fill that in for me because I don't know what
A
faster.
speeding bullet.
Yeah.
Life's always changing with
Yeah.
DriverCheck. We're a fast-moving company, explosive growth. So I've been with the company now 3.5 years.
Yeah.
I think when I started, we're at about 130 employees.
Yeah.
Now we're over 300.
Wow.
And in Alberta alone, a lot of people don't know, we have a strong presence in Alberta. So
Okay.
just because head office is here in Ayr, Ontario, 50% of our business comes out of Alberta.
Okay.
We have over 100 staff there. But there's always something happening
Yeah.
that's, when the industry moves, we have to move with it.
Yeah.
So this time last year, it was all about cannabis legalization.
Yeah.
The opioid epidemic's a hot topic. Now people are starting to add fentanyl to their drug testing panels. Now we have things like, again, trucking specific clearinghouse program is coming
Okay.
up. So we're really starting to ramp up to provide education on clearinghouse.
Yeah.
And then just end of April, we have our own proprietary software. And it just got revamped, and it has a new view that's now mobile friendly. So we've been working a lot on those sorts of launches. So there's always something happening here.
We just keep trying to keep up with you guys. Well, thanks very much, Jeremy. That was awesome. And so drivercheck.ca is where everybody can get the information.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me.